Okay, in this video, we will learn about var, let, and const. Okay, like how these are the three ways that we have using which we can create variable in JavaScript. So basically, when you create a object using the var, normally it is treated as a global variable. Okay, and when you create with either let or const, in that case, variable will be treated as a local variable. Okay, but let's go little bit in detail and try to see like what exactly happens with var, what happens with let, and what happens with const. So here you see basically variables declared with var are in the function scope. We will see what exactly does it mean. Then variables created with var can again be created with var and reassigned with values having the same name. Variables created with var become the property of window object. Okay, so we will see these things practically. Likewise, we have the let, and if you are creating any variable using let keyword in JavaScript, in that case, variables declared as let are in the block scope. Okay, so they will not have function, rather you can consider this as a block scope. What is the meaning of block scope? I will explain. Variables created with let cannot again be created, but their values can be reassigned. Okay, and variables created with let does not become the property of window. And likewise in constant, this is again a block scope. You can neither be created again nor the value will be reassigned. Okay, means so once whatever the value will be assigned to constant, that value can never be changed. Okay, it will remain the same forever. If you will try to change the value to that const variable, you will immediately start getting error. Variables created with const does not become the property of window object. We will observe that variables created with const must be assigned the value in the very same line. So just to save the time, I have already written the code, and here we will understand practically. So here you see we have created one variable with var keyword and giving the value 100. Then we have a variable with let keyword, and inside that we have assigned 200 and const with c, that is 300. So these are the three ways, all of them I have used, and we have created the variables with the value. Then we are printing the value. So no, nothing here, you will get the same value. Like A will have value 100, B will have 200, and C will have 300. At this point of time, you will feel like all of them are equal. But when we go in detail and when we see in at function level, there you will understand that what is the difference between var, what is the difference between let and const. First of all, you saw in the definition like function scope and block scope. So function scope means the scope within this, like open and close curly braces for the function, is called function scope. Means all the code that will be written within the curly braces of function is called function scope. And block scope means a particular block. For example, I have if block here. Okay, so these many codes I have written for at block scope for if block. Okay, so this statement, this section of code will be treated as block scope. However, this section of code will be treated as function scope. So this is called function as well as this is called block scope. Now we saw that variable declared with var are in the function scope. What does it mean? So here we have, if you see, we have created variable a that with var keyword, and again we are creating another variable with var keyword only and same name also, and we are assigning 500. Okay, so what exactly will happen? If you see, basically this variable I have created at function scope. Okay, and whatever the code that we have written inside the if block will be treated as block scope. So at function scope I wrote a equal to 500. So you can see it was telling like variables created with var can again be created with var. Means you can see here again I created var, a variable with var, and again I am creating the same variable with the same name, and in fact I am reassigning the value and I am not getting any error. Okay, so this is allow with var keyword, and this is what it was telling. And I can reassign the value also. So here you can see the value I am reassigning. However, if you see in this, here what we will see, like okay, so to understand this I will execute also. So I will right click and I will say open with live server. If you want to run like this, what you have to do, you click on this icon and type here live server. So this is the application that you have to install. You will click on this. I already have installed, that's why I am getting uninstall option, but you will get here install, where you will install. And after that, after refreshing, you can right click on that and you will start getting live server option. In when you will right click anywhere, then you will start getting this. So I will run my code. Okay, and you can see here is the option, this is the output that I am getting. Okay, so I will minimize it and we will observe output also. So you can see with here we are getting the value a, value of a is 100, value of b should be 200, and value of c should be 300, and these values we are getting here. Likewise, here we are reassigning, recreating the variable with var keyword, and we are not getting any problem. If you see, basically here inside the block scope, again we are recreating and reassigning the value in the same variable. So here whenever you create a variable with var, if the name are same, in that case what happens, the value will be assigned to the same variable that was created the very first time. For example, this variable a I am creating third time, but this a was already created here. So by coming here, the value of this a only will be overwritten two times. When I am creating here a variable a, it doesn't mean that another variable is getting created here. No, whatever existing variable I had, global variable, in the same variable, value will reassign to 500. Means now the same a variable will have value 500 even though I am declaring again. Okay, and here now you might have understood again, the same variable a will now have value 600, doesn't matter whether you are declaring or you are creating it again. So in the same variable, if the name is same, in that case within the same variable the value will be updated. Now here we have let b and here also we have the let b, but this time this is a local. As you see in the definition, ki variables created with the let cannot again be created with let, but value can be reassigned. So what does it mean? Actually it says ki does not create it, but here we are creating again, right? And we are not getting error. It says कि we are creating, so this variable we are creating within the block. Okay, so this let variable will have the accessibility only within this block. Okay, and this variable has nothing to do with this variable because they are independent of each other. Okay, unlike variable a where this a was associated with this a, and this a means all global variable or the variable defined with a var, and if their name are same they will be associated with each other. But here if you are defining with let, in that case they will have a scope within this block only. Outside this block, this variable this b will not be accessible, we can't access. But if we try to print the value of b, since this will be removed, this b will be printing the value of this b. Okay, and again we are creating const c. So like let const also has nothing to do with this const. So here we have created, and now we are trying to print the value of a, b and c. Now what will happen? As I told you, the value of a will keep overwriting. Okay, so the latest value of a will be taken, that is nothing but 600. So here you can see a value is 600 in the browser. Then we have the b, and what is the value of b? So local variable that you created within this block, that will be taken, and b will be printing here, that is nothing but 32, and you can see which is getting printed. Likewise, c also will be taking the this value of c which you have within this scope, this block scope, and it is also printing 20, right? This is what we have. Now outside this block again we are printing abc. Okay, so what does it mean? Actually outside this, if you see, we are again accessing a. So can we access this a? Yes, we are accessing this a only because they have the entire function, access. Means since this a is associated with this a, and this is a, so finally we are getting the value of this a only, but their values were keep overriding. So here the value of a will be 500, and here it will be 600. Means here the value of a will be 600 only, and that you can see here. Okay, because the value was keep reassigning to a variable that was defined with var keyword, but they have no they have only block access, block scope. So outside this block this variable has nothing to do, but again we are trying to access b. Means this b will be printing the value of this b which is at this scope. Okay, not at block scope. We are trying to access outside this block, so we will be accessing this b, and that's why we can see the value of b is getting 200. And c, if we are printing, so again c was const, and as I told you, this c has nothing to do with this c, and this is again at the block scope. So as soon as this block got completed, this c will not be existing outside this block. And so here if we are trying to access c, so we are accessing actually this c, and that's why we are having the value of 300. So this is what we have. So in short, if I tell you about the summary, so var, if you are defining any variable with var keyword, means those variable can be recreated as well as reassigned, that you see we are doing, right? And we are getting the latest value everywhere. You see we are getting here also, and we are getting here also 600 only. However, with let, you cannot recreate the variable. Even though we are creating here and here, means you can't say this is recreating, because this is at what, this is at, you can say like at the block scope, but here this is at, you can say something like global scope. Here I mean, like here let's take one common scope, maybe at global. So here itself also I can again say var a equal to 200, and you can say I'm not getting any error. But here also if again I try to create with let, immediately I will start getting error. This is what I'm trying to say. You see we are starting getting error key, like cannot redeclare block scoped variable. This is block scoped. Okay, but you can see we are not getting any error for the variable that we have defined with var. And same thing will be applicable for const also. If I write the const and any other value, you can see same error we are getting. So this is what I was trying to tell. So what here I'm trying to say, कि variable with var you can redeclare as well as you can reassign. Okay, but let you cannot redeclare, but yes you can reassign the value. Like see I'm assigning, I'm able to assign and I'm not getting error. So let keyword, you cannot re declare or recreate the variable with the same name using let keyword, but definitely you can reassign. But in const, neither you can recreate or neither you can create again, nor you can reassign the value I want to say कि even at least with let keyword you are able to reassign the value, but in C neither you can create the same variable with same like this. I'm trying to say const C, you can't do like this. Not even you can reassign the value also. This is totally prohibited. You will not be getting error at this point of time, but when I will run you will get error. If you want to see, I will run, I will say open with live server, and when it will run you can see nothing is appearing. And if I show you in the inspect, then in the console error you can see assignment to constant variable, means constant variable can not be reassigned the value. This is coming because of, you see when it is saying कि we are having this error at line number 14 in this HTML file, and that you see at line number 14 we have written this syntax. So in variable const you cannot create the you cannot reassign value also. Understood? Then this is what we have. Now one more point that we had mentioned कि whenever you are creating any variable with var, it becomes the property of window object, right? So I hope we have already understood these 2 points, like what is function scope and what does it mean in context of var. You also saw like variables created with var can again be created with var and reassigned. That we are doing here, right? We are again creating and again reassigning, and that we are able to do. Okay, so this is the meaning of this line was. Then we have ki variable created with var become the property of window object. What does it mean? So I will comment this line which is causing the problem. Okay, so I will comment, and now I will again try to I will just refresh. You can see it is coming. So you can see here we have created a variable with var, and we are expecting that this variable should be the property of window object. What does it mean? So here if I type in the console window, just I will say window and hit enter. When I hit enter, you can see this window object is coming. When I expand this, you can see a has started looking like the property of window with value 200, which is nothing that we declared here, right? So here one more thing we should keep in mind, like we should try to not declare the variable with var keyword as much as possible, because by mistake, intentionally or unintentionally, sometimes you might overwrite the existing value of window property. In that case, the normal execution might get disturbed. So for that reason, since कि intentionally or unintentionally we should not overwrite the existing value, and in order to get rid of that we should avoid creating variable using var as much as possible. I'm not telling you never create, but yes, as much as possible try to create either with let or const keyword, because of this problem that you see कि this variable is becoming the part of or property of window object. Okay, so this is what the meaning of this line was. Likewise, you saw this line also, like you cannot create it cannot be again created, but the value can be reassigned. So here you saw we were not able to recreate, but value we are able to reassign. And third one is key variables created with let doesn't become the property of window object. As you see, we have created b, and if I show you in a, here it is, and if it was b, so here it should start with, but here we are not able to see the v. So the variable created with let or const will not be the object of window property. I mean, they will not be the property of window object. This is what the meaning of uh, you know window object was. Like if you are creating a variable with let or const keyword, it will not be the property of window object, however with var it will be. And one more thing that I wrote with const is like variable created with const must be assigned the value in the very same line. What does it mean? I mean if you are just declaring a variable but you are not initializing, then also you will start getting error. Right now you can see it is saying when I hover the mouse on this, it says const declaration must be initialized in case of const keyword. Right, whenever you are defining any variable with const keyword, you must be initializing the variable. You can see what happened. I will be initializing in the next line. No, you see still error is there. It will not allow you to even change the line. Okay, you are supposed to initialize it within the same line itself. So this is what you should be doing. This is the meaning, like you can't just declare. Along with declaration, you also must be initializing in the very same line. This is what the meaning of this line was, like variable created with const must be assigned the value in the very same line. I hope we are clear with all these points. So this is what we had about the var, let and const. I hope it makes sense for you. Thank you for watching.